Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video, and it's always a good day when you get a Skyline box with some smiley face stickers. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Skyline Razor. So let's just get this guy open. And now this is a new frame from Skyline. So just real quick, what you get, just some basic parts with the carbon pieces. You get some stickers here. More carbon, that shouldn't be in there. More carbon pieces for the top. Get a bunch of little nylon screws and standoffs, little nylon 3D print with a standoff already in it. Get a sticky battery pad, which is really nice. You get some antenna tubes. Here are the arms. You can see something special is going on with the arms, but I'll talk more about that later. You get 4 arms there. Just get some more standoffs and screws. Those ones are aluminum, but the ones meant for the frame to hold stuff hard are steel. Then we have a Skyline battery strap. These are, in my experience, pretty thick and nice. And then here we have another plate and some more arms. Alright, so here we have everything laid out. We have our 4 arms, we have our 2 bottom plates, and hopefully you can notice that this one does come with press fit nuts in it, which I think is a really nice feature. A lot of the Skyline frames, they do use the press fit nuts. It just makes it for a simple, clean build with only one tool. You can just screw right in and it'll tighten down. You don't have to use pliers to hold a nut, which I think is really nice. We have our 2 sort of side plates for the front that are going to make sort of a roll cage there. This little piece just hooks them down into that. And then we have these sort of crossbars that are going to go in between the arms to help strengthen it up. And of course we have all our other hardware that comes with it. So let me just go ahead and assemble this frame and then we'll talk more about it. Alright, so I got the Skyline Razor all assembled, so you can definitely see this is a very unique frame. It uses 4mm thick arms wide here, so it is very, very sleek. However, they are not vertical. It uses 2 4mm thick arms stacked on top of each other to give you a total of 8mm there. And you can see then this part, this separate part, will attach and screw into your motor to give you extra strength there. So that's very interesting. Then we just have 2 contact points up here at the press fit nuts. And then having this system leaves you a nice gap in the middle for a 4-in-1 ESC, because you definitely don't want to be running ESCs on the arms here. That'd just be a waste. So you can just put your 4-in-1 ESC in the middle here, and that'll just hang down from the plate, and then you can put your flight controller and VTX right here, so there's plenty of room for that, so that's very cool. And then you also have these bars that go on the side that attach underneath here. They also go up and screw through the motors. However, you have to have your motors obviously on so you can attach those, and it does come with the right length screws to go through all that carbon. And if you've been following Skyline or my channel, hopefully you can recognize that this is sort of a baby brother or cousin to the Skyline Rampage, which I have here. Now this is a vertical arm frame, so you can see the arms are just flipped vertical. However, vertical arms presents a problem with vibrations in the yaw direction, as well as this one is just a little bit heavy at about 95 grams for the frame. So this one aims to solve the weight issue that I was not that happy about by being a lot lighter, as well as with not having the vertical arm frames, it should be a lot less vibrations for the flight controller. And if you look at the roll cage, once again similar to the Rampage, it just has some connections that slot on the back here. It only uses 1 screw to attach with another press fit nut in the back. However, it is super secure, not going to get anywhere, so that's a really nice simple solution. However, this one is meant for the mini and micro camera sizes. This will not fit a full-size camera. You can see that it's not going to fit in there, but this is a racing frame, so you really shouldn't be using a full-size camera anyways. This is meant for mini and micro. And now the mini will just drop right in and screw into the holes on the sides here. The micro, however, you do need to add just a little 2mm spacer on each side, just some kind of spacer, but it'll fit right in there. And then if we line it up with the holes, you can see it'll get lots of protection. It's well protected inside the carbon there, so you're not going to be damaging your camera, which is super nice. If we take a look on the back, you have this nylon printed part that comes with the frame. It is meant for the Axi UFL antenna, which I do have one here. So it's really cool. This just slots right in there. And then that pops down in, so there's basically no way you're ever going to damage that. Then this will just connect up right to your VTX on the inside here, as well as it has antenna tube holes for the antenna tubes to just go in there and then hang down below. Obviously, these are a little long. You'd cut them to hang down below the frame like that, which works just fine. Obviously not intended for a long-range setup, but for racing it's more than adequate. And then you have your battery pad which will just stick on right here on the bottom. And these Skyline pads are really nice, and your battery strap will go right there. And it's a bottom mounted battery setup. So the arms do use these press fit nuts instead of lock nuts, so they aren't the most secure. I tightened them as much as I could, but I still can get a few millimeters deflection either way. But that's not going to be a big issue, especially since when you're flying, you're not going to notice that at all. It won't cause any vibrations, just if you continually crash this, so it might loosen up. But they are steel bolts, and I'm assuming steel lock nuts, so just make sure you keep an eye on those and keep them tight. And it might even be beneficial to add some blue Loctite as you're going through. So let me just run over the carbon thicknesses overall. So once again, the arms, the top and bottom pieces are 4 millimeters to give you 8 millimeters stacked. The central plate here is 3 millimeters. The bottom plate is 2 millimeters. The top two plates are 2 millimeters. And then these crossbars here are 3 millimeters thick. Okay, so let's just get some general measurements on this guy overall. So for the length of it, it is about a 222 millimeter frame, and it is a stretch X, so it is about 148 wide and about 164 long. Now let's get a weight on it to see how much it weighs. And once again, like I said, the previous version, the Rampage, weighed about 95 to 100 grams depending on how you built it up. So let's see what this guy weighs. And it weighs 69.7, so 70 grams. So that's pretty much, for me, a racing frame, I want to be between 50 and 70 grams, so this just fits. However, if you do add the crossbars, it is going to bring it up a little bit. However, it's only just a few grams here, so I don't think that's going to matter too much. So yeah, we're at just below 75 grams. But that is also with the antenna mount included there. So it's definitely perfectly acceptable weight for a race frame. So I'm not going to be doing a build video on this guy because I'm going to basically be swapping over the components from my Rampage onto this guy just because I haven't been flying this really at all, so it needs to get some love out of these components. However, I will be swapping out. I won't be using these Emax motors. They're just too low of kV and too heavy, as well as the full-size camera. So I'll just be switching to a micro camera, as well as the Brother Hobby R3 2207 2550 kV motors, which should give this some real speed, which are my favorite motors right now. So let me just put the motors on right now, actually, so I can screw these crossbars on to get an overall feeling for how stiff the frame is. Alright, so there I have the motors installed, so you can get a look of what it looks like with the crossbars attached. And there was only 4 screws, so I can only put 3 screws into the motors here. I'm not sure if they will be including an extra screw to fit through there, an 11mm screw to go up in. However, mine is a pre-production unit with everything put in just for me, so I assume the production frames will be coming with everything needed. But there would be no problem running it with just 3 screws here. I just would like that extra 4th screw just to make sure these 2 arms are butting up nice and tight against each other. But otherwise, adding these crossbars to the frame makes it much, much stronger. The arms can't really move at all. Just a tiny, tiny bit of flex in there. But really, I think this is actually going to be surprisingly durable. I don't think there's going to be any issues with it. The roll cage design is very well tried and true from the Rampage. Never had any issues with that. It can take a beating. I think this is a really cool way to try and get the very slim aerodynamic profile without running into the issues of weight and vibrations of the vertical arms. So I'm very excited to be testing this guy out as a primary racer for me. Another great thing about this guy is that it only costs $55, so it is a pretty decently cheap replaceable race frame, which is really nice. And you might be wondering why I'm taking a look at this guy when I have my own Mode 2 Ghost frame that I helped design and is my main primary favorite racer right now. But really it's just that I don't want to be locked into any one thing. Even though this is my own custom frame that I helped design, I want to be able to check out what's new. So just putting that out there with you guys, even though it's my own custom frame, I'm not biased towards it, and I'm always looking forward to whoever comes out with new exciting ideas, which just looks pretty cool to me. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. There will be a link down below to the frame as well as the motors. Skyline sells some various Brother Hobby motors, so thank you very much for sending these out for the build. Please subscribe, stay tuned for flight test footage of this coming soon, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.